Good morning and welcome. It is Monday morning, the 10th of November 2025. Good morning to you and a warm welcome to everybody who is watching, whether you're watching on live now or whether you're watching on replay later on. My name's Jenny McCormack. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that is here in the UK. We are alternating our cards at the minute between Christmas and non-Christmas, and this week is Christmas week. Last week we played with the stripes and dots stamps for lots of different patterned cards, and then this week we're using a new stamp set called Stay Warm. This is a reversible stamp set, which means that the stamp is cut flat to the image so that you can stamp either the detailed image or you can turn it over and stamp the blank side, if you like, and that allows you then to colour in. It also allows you to do this with other patterns as well, and in the set we have 7 stamps altogether. We have the jumper, we have the bobble hat, we have a cute little heart which you could use any time, and then we have socks facing either way and the mittens facing either way as well. Here's one that I just did quickly yesterday evening, and this is coloured in with blends pens, so I used our alcohol markers to colour them in, but I'm going to show you this morning how you can also use the stamp. This was just a different variation of the same thing, which I fussy cut. There's no dies or anything for this particular set, but I would say all of the elements are relatively easy to cut out. They are bigger than you see in the picture. The picture is at, I want to say, 80%. So if I open this up, you can see they're a little bit bigger than that. I'm going to use, excuse me, the arch dies. I'm not quite sure which size I'm going to use. This one is the same as I tried out, but I'm going to do one on each, one slightly larger. And I think we'll have a lot of fun with this because you could stamp, for example, the little bobble hats in a line in different colours. I think that would be rather fun. Good morning, Caroline. Thanks for joining us. You could stamp the mittens and the socks all over as a background, and they just have a Christmas sentiment. So I think this is a great fun stamp, and you could use it with children or your grandchildren, nephews, nieces. They could stamp and then just colour in their own jumpers and things. I've had to put the lights on because it's quite dull outside. I'm just going to drop that down a little bit to reduce the, I was trying to reduce the reflection. Not sure that it worked. Okay, let's take the jumper, and might, if I have space, I might add in the hat as well on this slightly bigger archway. So it's called Stay Warm, and it's a reversible set. So basically the stamp is cut flat as opposed to with a little bit of an edge around it, so that you can use that side or that side. Obviously you can't tell the difference from there. So I'll show you both. I'll show you one being coloured in and then one with using the reverse of the stamp. Let's do it this way. Not quite sure why I've got quite such a big block. I don't really need one that big. Okay, let's go for, I'm going to go for pinks, I think. Berry Burst, Melon Mambo. I'm not sure. Okay, so this one I'm going to stamp and colour in. So I also want a sentiment, but I've got a narrow sentiment I can put on the bottom. So this would work, in my opinion, for Christmas birthdays, winter birthdays, and winter celebrations. So I'm leaving a little bit of space here for my sentiment, like so. Just trying to get it fairly central and fairly straight. Doesn't always work. Okay. So good morning, Caroline. I can see your comment now. It didn't come up before. There we go. So there's our jumper. Let's stamp one on here. I'm just going to use the same colourway to save time, but watch out for all the different colours I expect to see from our class starting tomorrow. So our coffee and card tomorrow will feature this set. So I've got 2 jumpers. I've got not enough space for a hat on that one, but I'm going to put the hat on here. Like so. Let's clean that off. And then let's just pop a sentiment in now while I remember. So I've got Jolly Holly's got some lovely sentiments. That's this one here. As excuse me, as has Snowy Delights. And that's what I use for this one. That says a winter wish for Snowy Delights. And it also has a warm hello, which is perfect for a nice warm jumper. Let's see, I've got bright and happy Christmas wishes. I think that will fit on. Okay, so I hope everybody's had a good weekend. I had a relatively sensible weekend. So that was good. A little bit of catch-up time. Class in a Box are all ready to go. I'm just going to use the same sentiment on here, I think. And then I've got all my prep going on, ready for our Christmas craft event on the 22nd. There we go. So it's all go. Right. Now, I'm not quite sure what colour I'm going to put in the backing. I was going to use Bubble Bath, but I'm not sure I am. I might change that. I might use Melon Mambo, which is what I've got there. Melon Mambo. So I just want to show you how you can stamp the reverse of this to do some colouring in. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure the stamp is clean, because I want it to cling obviously to the block, and if it's still coated in ink it won't be able to do that. Okay, so like so. So now I've got the flat side of the stamp. Oh, tool that a bit. Obviously yanked it off the set a bit quickly. And I want a lighter pink, so I could use Melon Mambo and stamp it off. Let me just see. I'm going to do that, I think. Decisions. Okay, so let's get a piece of scrap paper at the ready. So what I'm going to do is ink it up, stamp off that piece, So ink it up, so I'll get the whole of the stamp inked up, as you can see there. And it's very easy especially with photopolymer stamps, to do that without even thinking. So I can see I've got a bit of mark on there, so let me just take that off. Okay, I'm just going to ink that up again, stamp it on here lightly, and then stamp it onto my card. Now I'm using the same colour, but you could use a contrasting colour. You don't want it to be darker than the one that you've stamped originally. And now I can see hairs on that. Sorry folks. You really do need a nice clean surface for that to work. Right, third time lucky. I'm going to go with this anyway, regardless. But you could certainly use a contrast colour to do this if you wished. So stamping that on there. And then I'm just lining this up. Hopefully got it right. I have got a camera between me and that, so it may be slightly offset. But if you're not a fan of colouring in, then that's a really good way to get your coloured image. And because it's a second generation or even a third generation stamp, it has quite a nice mottle effect to it. You could go over that if you wanted to, or you could stamp it again. As I say, you could use a contrast colour. The alternative is to colour this in. Now I love this for coffee and card because I have some people who love colouring in, and I have some people who don't enjoy it as much. That's what I'm going to say. So let's do this. This is Pretty in Pink, that's what I'm going to use, and I'm just going to very quickly do some colouring. Now I did these slightly differently, so I just used a darker colour for part of this. Let's put that there. I left this one with some white elements in this pattern and here, so you can do as much or as little colouring as you would like to do. So I hope you had a good weekend. Caroline, let me take my glasses off. So this is Pretty in Pink. So I'm just going to use the dark on the edges to come in, just with that light flicking motion. Do the same here. And I might just do that middle band there. I'm going to leave those bottom pieces, if only so you're not sitting watching me colouring the whole time. So I will use a Pretty in Pink, yes, a Pretty in Pink layer for this to go behind. I could also use Melon Mambo. Let's just do a bit on here, like so. And then I'm just going to grab the light Pretty in Pink to colour the rest of the area. I'm going to use the narrow tip here. And this just allows us to get a bit of shading. If you're not worried about shading, you could literally just colour it in any single colour rather than worry about light and dark. So let's bring that over there, a little bit lighter here, and then if I've got enough in here, I'm just using the wider brush tip just for the large area. Just means you can cover a bigger area in a shorter amount of time, like so, and you just get that nice natural effect, like so. Cute. I'm going to do the same with the bobble hat. I might leave that. You could also if you've got some you could emboss that in white on pink, for example, and put that on the top to make it stand out a little more. So there's my dark on either side. Oh, Caroline had a good weekend. Excellent. And I hope anybody else watching is in the same boat. There we go. Could actually make that a bit darker. Let me see if I've got Melon Mambo. Of course, I'll have everything except won't I? Just a hand. Let me have a look. Melon Mambo. This is a dark one. Let me just see what it's like on a piece of card. Yeah, why not? Let's go dark for that. I would normally go probably light, but you can still see the detail. So, happy with that. I guess I could do a stripe to match. Like so. Okay, quite a different look, isn't it? So we've got this one here that I use the back of the stamp on, this one here that I've coloured with two blends pens, and this one I coloured I think with one blends pen, yeah, because this was two. So you can have fun with reds and greens, obviously, if you wanted traditional Christmas colours. You could also do them in football colours, and thinking about it with those hats, if you had a keen footballer, I'm just thinking what you could do, and I'm just going to do this really quickly while I have that idea in my head, is you could do a line of, oh no, I've got the hats out. What have I done with them? Okay, so I won't do that. Oh, how crazy is that? It will be here somewhere. I'll find it before tomorrow. Anyway, I was thinking you could do a line of hats here, like 3 at different angles or something like that. Would be good fun. Yeah, I don't know what I've done with that. Anyway, let us continue. Let me put my glasses on, see what we're doing. So, these are our 2 from today. So I'm just going to grab, so this is Pretty in Pink, which is this colour here. So I'm just going to cut that layer down to fit my card. So this is going to measure 10 centimetres by 14.35. That's just going to give me a little border on my card. Okay, like so. And in the absence of my little hats, I'm going to put, quite like these little hearts, or I could put mittens. What do we think? Mittens. It's going to be. And these face different ways, which is quite useful because when you turn this over to use it on the back image matches the other one. I'm just going to do these separately. No, I'm going to do them together. Is that the right way? Yes. I think about that. And I'm just going to use Melon Mambo on the back. Oh, so Caroline is off on holiday. I've just remembered. I'll say have some ideas for tomorrow, but he won't be with us. So enjoy. Let's put a piece of paper behind. Like so. Like that. They're fun little mittens, aren't they? And then just coming up this left hand side. I'm just angling them slightly to make it look a little bit more interesting. Like so. And then if you've got any gaps, you can just do the edges. Like that. Let's put one in there. And there. Probably got way more than I need. Okay, that's really cute. So this is the slightly larger arch. There is a bigger one again, but I wanted to be able to see a little bit of that background. So I've got a base card. I've got that layer. This one I'm going to probably put up with dimensionals. And then I'm going to stamp those little mittens inside. And also on the envelope. Which I think I put ready. So 2 mittens there. Let's grab another envelope. I'll no doubt find it afterwards. Okay, so there's that. Just going to put the little mittens here. And also on the back in the middle. Like so. Right. Let's just put these layers together. Oh, Caroline will be on her flight. We'll miss you, but enjoy the sunshine. Bring us back some sun and warmth, please. Okay, so just adding this layer to my base card. So my base card is thick basic white, and that's half an A4, scored at 10.5 centimeters. And then this is going to go on here. Actually, I might just, for speed, I'm just going to do it flat. But you could certainly pop it on dimensionals. And I want to show a little bit of that at the bottom, so positioning it fairly central on there. And then finishing touch, I wonder if I've got some bling to match. Would this do the job? Yes. There we go. Okay, where am I going to put these? One up here. One here. And one there. There we go. So there's our finished card. So on this one I stamped and I used our blends pens to colour in. Stamped the background as well. And then on this one I used the back of the stamp with the melon mambo. I would have preferred maybe to have used, what I could have done is used Pretty in Pink ink on the inside, so you had more of a comparison, but that's out on loan to another demonstrator at the minute, so I had to do without. So there we go. I hope you like them. And then we have the blue ones here, so I'm expecting lots of fun vibrant colours tomorrow. Hopefully, I'm sure I will find my bobble hat stamp. It'll be here somewhere. If needs be, I'll look back through the video to see which way I put it when I finish with it. So thank you so much. I do hope you're able to join us. We will be here live on Wednesday morning. I've got a brand new kit for you, which I'm really looking forward to opening, in blues, which is one of my favourite colours. So I look forward to seeing you then. That'll be Wednesday morning here in the UK at 10 AM. Thank you so much, everyone. Do take care. Thanks for joining us, and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Bye for now.